A common question is, why are Asian carp not a problem in China? And the answer to that is complicated, but the basic issue is because they're a popular food fish over there, it's actually commercial fishing that is keeping their numbers down. And right now, they're having problems maintaining their Asian carp numbers because it is such a popular food item.
The U.S. market's a very difficult market for the Asian carp because of the bones in it. We're raised that you get a boneless white meat fillet of fish at McDonald's or Burger King or any other fast food restaurant. It's in everyone's best interest if they could come up with a very good recipe for that fish. Black and red fish used to be not a very utilized fish, but now every restaurant in the world pretty much uses black and red fish. We made hot dogs out of it, bratwurst, just any kind, meatloaf, big rolls of meatloaf, just everything. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many things we've tried with this fish. We've got 4 different universities, 3 culinary schools in the Midwest area that are trying different recipes. We've got 2 or 3 different ones on the West Coast that are trying different styles of cooking it. On the East Coast, obviously, you've got the Jewish communities that use it in their gefilte fish. There's also Polish communities that are trying it as a substitute for ground beef. I hope to see the U.S. buy some, but everyone else uses the fish instead. I mean, the U.S. is the only country that looks down on a carp.
The operation we are beginning today is another clear indication that the Asian Carp Regional Coordinating Committee and all of our partners are very, very serious about keeping these destructive fish out of the Great Lakes. If there are Asian carp here, we should get confirmation of that this week. That is important information to have to help guide our future efforts aimed at keeping Asian carp out of the Great Lakes.
We join together to add our core competencies in this fight against Asian carp getting into our Great Lakes.
I guess that's why the fish kills, in some ways, get people in their hearts. For some of us, we've seen these fisheries come around, and now all of a sudden to see rather cavalierly, and I think the attitude's been rather cavalierly, to go in and kill massive stretches of water to get, in the last one was a 6-mile stretch of water to get one big head carp. At a certain point you have to ask the hard question, is one big head carp worth $4 million?
Well, you got 2.2, you have 10, that's 12.2, at 13, so about $25 to $26 million is what it costs for planning, design, construction, and then we have additional costs, of course, to operate and maintain the barriers.
Illinois DNR has done an initial assessment that our cost will be about $1.5 million for this operation. That does not include costs assumed by other agencies.
And now we have a new project, and the bid was just let on this, I think, a month ago, and it's $4 or $5 million to put a 13-mile barrier in to prevent the fish from moving during the high water events on the display. It just goes on and on and on. We just are pouring money down a hole.
I'd say, what price do you put on knowledge? The knowledge of what the risk might actually be. And right now we're operating in an information vacuum. And people are making allegations and statements based on really a very limited amount of information. So that's what we're paying for in this operation. Information that will start to give us a sense of what the true risk is.
On one side, we are spending millions of dollars to keep Asian carp out of the Great Lakes. But on the other hand, we're spending millions of dollars to put salmon into the Great Lakes, and all salmon are invasive species, but they're popular. Okay, so we're spending millions to keep some invasives out, and we spend millions to put invasive species in, all whether you like them or not.
This is by far the biggest boondoggle that's ever happened in Chicago outdoors. I mean, it's just been a buffoonery from the get-go.
Are they going to devastate the Great Lakes? And you read that over and over again, and that's not going to be true. I don't know of any scientist that actually believes that. So there's just been a lot of hyperbole in a lot of this, and that's frustrating. And I think that we need to get a lot of the actual information out there so that people can make up their minds for themselves instead of relying on what they're being told by various agencies and the media and such. Would one more invasive species getting into the Great Lakes, harm the Great Lakes that much more? Difficult to say. Parts of it will be impacted negatively, other parts will not be. But I think it's more about public attitude than the actual fish.